History is often written by the victors, and in the world of Greek mythology, the victors are almost always the gods. Because of this, we have been told a single, simple story for thousands of years. We have been told about a monster. A creature so hideous that she had venomous snakes for hair. A beast so terrifying that a single glance into her eyes would turn a brave warrior into cold, dead stone. We know her name. Medusa. But the story you think you know is a lie. Or at the very least, it is only half of the truth. To understand the monster, we must first meet the woman. And to understand her tragic death, we must understand the cruelty of the gods who created her. This is not just a story about a hero slaying a beast. This is a story of beauty, jealousy, rage, and the ultimate injustice. Long before she was a nightmare, Medusa was a dream. Born to the primordial sea gods Perseus and Ceto, she was one of three sisters known as the Gorgons. But unlike her sisters, Stheno and Euryale, who were immortal and born with monstrous features, Medusa was unique. She was born mortal. And she was born with a beauty that rivaled the goddesses on Mount Olympus. Ancient poets wrote extensively about her, specifically praising her hair, describing it as her most magnificent feature. Her beauty was so renowned that she was chosen to serve as a high priestess in the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. Becoming a priestess of Athena was a great honor, but it required a solemn vow. Medusa swore a life of celibacy and purity, dedicating her entire existence to the goddess. She spent her days tending to the temple, loyal and devout. However, her beauty was a curse in disguise. It attracted the attention of visitors, pilgrims, and eventually, the gods themselves. Poseidon, the lord of the seas and the brother of Zeus, saw Medusa. He did not see a priestess, he saw a prize. He did not care for her vows, and he certainly did not care for her consent. One tragic night, inside the sacred walls of Athena's temple, Poseidon descended. He cornered the mortal priestess. Despite her prayers and her resistance, the sea god assaulted her. It was an act of violence committed in a holy place. Medusa was broken, humiliated, and terrified. She turned to her goddess, Athena, expecting comfort, justice, or retribution against the god who had harmed her. But the justice of the gods is not like the justice of men. Athena was furious, but not at Poseidon. Poseidon was her uncle, a powerful Olympian. Instead, Athena directed her rage at the victim. She viewed the assault not as a tragedy, but as a desecration of her temple. In her eyes, Medusa had failed to keep her vow. Athena's punishment was swift and cruel. She decided to take away the very thing that had caused this trouble, Medusa's beauty. The goddess twisted Medusa's lovely face into a mask of horror. She transformed her magnificent hair, which she had been so proud of, into a nest of hissing, venomous vipers. And finally, she bestowed the ultimate curse. She made it so that no living thing could ever look at Medusa again. Anyone who made eye contact with her would instantly be turned to stone. The once adored priestess was now a monster, banished to live in isolation on the dark island of Sarpedon. For years, Medusa lived in darkness. She was hunted. Warriors seeking glory would travel to her island, hoping to slay the beast. But one by one, they fell, adding to her garden of statues. She did not hunt them, they came to her. She was simply trying to survive in a world that hated her. But the gods were not finished with her yet. Enter Perseus. Perseus was the son of Zeus, and to save his mother from a cruel king, he was sent on a suicide mission, to bring back the head of Medusa. Perseus was a hero in name, but he did not act alone. The entire might of Olympus conspired to help him kill this one, lonely, cursed woman. Athena, still holding her grudge, gave Perseus a polished bronze shield to use as a mirror. Hermes gave him winged sandals to fly. He was even given a helmet of invisibility from the underworld and a sword sharp enough to cut through stone. It was an execution, planned by the divine. Perseus flew to the Gorgon's lair and found Medusa sleeping. Even a monster needs to rest. Hovering above her, using the reflection in his shield to avoid her deadly gaze, Perseus lined up his strike. With one swift swing of his blade, he severed Medusa's head from her body. The monster was dead. But the tragedy continued even after death. From her severed neck, two creatures sprang forth, Chrysaor, a giant with a golden sword, and Pegasus, the majestic winged horse. These were the children of Poseidon, born from the assault years ago, finally released in the moment of her death. Perseus did not bury her body. He took her head as a trophy. He used it as a weapon, turning his enemies to stone, including the Titan Atlas, who was transformed into a massive mountain range. Eventually, Perseus gave the head to Athena. The goddess placed the severed head of Medusa onto her shield, the Aegis. In a final twist of irony, Athena now wore the face of the woman she had destroyed, using her power for protection. So, as we look back at this ancient myth, we must ask ourselves, was Medusa ever truly a villain? Some modern interpretations suggest that Athena's curse was actually a twisted form of protection, ensuring no man could ever hurt Medusa again. Whether you see her as a monster or a victim, one thing is certain. Medusa is the most powerful symbol of Greek mythology. She represents the anger of the silenced and the power of survival. The next time you see her image, remember the woman behind the snakes.